Hi, I'm Farah Danish. Welcome to my Calm Autism Mom podcast. I'm a certified brain gym movement facilitator, former special educator, and a mindset coach. Through my podcast, I bring together parents, experts from educational, psychology, and medical communities to share innovative insights on parenting and supporting individuals on the spectrum. My mission is simple: to continuously learn and share the latest autism-related news and strategies, bringing you powerful conversations and practical solutions you can use right now. So, if you're an autism mom searching for answers, support, or just some real inspiration, you're in exactly the right place, my friend. Let's transform your autism parenting journey starting right now. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce to you Momina, a former biomedical engineer and a mother of three remarkable daughters from Lahore, Pakistan. At the heart of her story is Uma, her vibrant 14-year-old daughter on the autism spectrum, alongside her two younger neurotypical sisters. When Uma received her autism diagnosis at the age of 3, Momina made the courageous decision to step away from her engineering career, dedicating herself fully to Uma's journey and caring for her newborn daughter. After navigating more than a decade of intensive therapy sessions and the challenges of mainstream education, Momina and Uma discovered a transformative path: homeschooling. This shift has brought newfound joy and fulfillment to their lives, opening up exciting possibilities for Uma's unique way of learning and growing. Join me to hear more from Momina herself.
Hello, Momina. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've been following you for like the longest time, and I am so thrilled to have you here after what I think about 6 years. And I've seen your journey. It's been nothing short of phenomenal. I have seen you struggle as a mom of a child on the spectrum, a daughter on the spectrum in a mainstream school, and you still powered through. You did remarkably well. And how you transition from that into creating a little homeschool life for yourself, and you're killing it even there. So I really want you to today sit with my moms out there who are nervous, who are scared, who have given up hope on the mainstream schooling journey, but feel they have no other choice. Either your child struggles in school or struggles at home with the mother. And that, I feel that that is something which moms, if we have moms like you who can come out and talk to them, that it's okay, I did it, and this is what I did, and I would love you to share that story, that inspirational story of yours, and inspire those moms that they can think outside the box as well. So what I want to start off with you walking us through your challenges with mainstream schooling and the overwhelm that you experienced when you thought that this is it. I can't go on with mainstream schooling anymore. So just walk us through that, please, Momina.
Okay. Thank you for having me. I'll just start with my daughter's journey from like when we started the mainstream process. She was 5 when she was given the get go to be put in a mainstream school after 2 years of therapy, speech, ABA, OT. So we put her in a school, but in Pakistan, you are on your own in this, so you have to put them in a private school, and you have to have them accompanied by an SNA. In most schools, ask for an SNA, which is a special needs assistant, like a shadow teacher. The parents finance that, parents arrange for her to come and go, however, so it's all up to us. So Umama entered Kids Campus, which is a very renowned school, with her SNA at the age of 5, and after and so she did her preschool there until grade 1, and things were fine because academically she's very sound. She is not she's not a really hyper. She doesn't have that many sensory issues. So I guess you could say she was functional. She was well
She
functional.
could get through.
Yes.
Yeah.
But preschool was a breeze basically for her with an SNA. But once her preschool ends at grade one, so she needed to move to a higher school of a different private school. We moved her there. Grade two was fine, but in grade three, by the middle of grade two, I could see them struggling in the sense because the academic load was so much. There are so many subjects in Pakistan, including Islamiyat, Pakistan studies. There, I think, it amounts to about five, six subjects, even at grade two and three level. So her SN and her had to spend so much time going over the academics and figuring out the academics for her that there was no time for socialization. There was no time for her to just for her SNA to actually get her more like used to and more independent. We could not work on any self-help task in the school because most of the time SNA and the Umma would be occupied with the academics. And then grade three happened. Then in the beginning of grade four, I could see Umma getting very anxious. She was growing up. She was, I think, around 11 at that time. She was growing up, and she could understand that she was different from her peers. She could understand that the academic load was getting more beyond her, and then her SNA had to spend a lot of time making her assessments because her assessment needed to be modified according to her
Wow.
her condition. So her the SNA had to remake all the assessments that the teacher had given her and turn them more into MCQ form and fill in the blanks and basically adjust it to Omama's needs. So the SNA and OMA were so stressed out by the academics that they just didn't. Like at first, Uma enjoyed school a lot. I could tell, and mainstreaming was hard. I mean, I bore it all because Umama was happy. I mean, it was not easy dealing with the SNAs, hiring them, keeping them happy, arranging the logistics for them to come and go. But I bore it all easily because Uma was happy. But in grade four, Uma was not happy anymore. Anxiety, like she could write independently all this time, and all of a sudden, her SNA needed to give her physical prompts for her to actually hold the pencil and write. That was not good either. I mean, not as well.
Come this far, and now she's struggling to write. Wow.
Right. Wow. And then breaks will come if her SNA was ever sick or had issues. I mean, it's life. You can't blame people to have to have days off. So then
Yeah.
Umama had to be absent on those days, and then keeping her home wasn't really hard because she's a quiet child. She's not hyper. She doesn't really, she's not very demanding. But still, it was mom guilt that my kid is at home and she's dependent on an SNA who can't come to school, so my child is in school. That was just so depressing. I don't even know why now I think back. I don't even know why that was that depressing, but it was very depressing.
It was.
So,
Why does she have an off day?
yeah, why does she have an off day where she's well, she's fine, but she's having an off day? And then and but I mean like and it was surprising to me why Umama was not happy because this was the year after COVID was a year before. Umama even enjoyed her online classes. I don't know why. I would call the SNA home and she would sit with Umama. They would do the online class and Umama was happy. She would be able to actually do the online exercise and forms on the keyboard. So I thought she was happy. But grade four rolled on, and it was getting too stressful. Even the SNA just told me that, I mean, there's no progress in Omama because we are just unable to work on any self help task or anything. Uh,
Yeah.
but me, me at that time was like a typical mom. Oh my God, what if she doesn't go to school? What will happen? Then my husband,
Life's
who
over.
yeah, life's over. But my husband, who has no physical input in any of Omama's life. I mean, there's love, of course, there's facilitation of everything, and of course, financial resources, but there's no help. I mean, he doesn't even know her level. He didn't think she could read, like, he's that out of it. But he's the one who
Oh,
reminded me
yeah.
that our goal for her is an independent and functional life. I mean, we don't want her to do a PhD. We don't need her to become a doctor and engineer like that's the South Asian,
Yeah.
standard
Yeah.
for a successful child.
Success.
And right, and then again that it's the it's 2020. It was what, 2022 then. He said it's 2022. It's a time for skills. It's an era of skills development rather than degrees. Why are we pushing for O
Wow.
levels? Why do we even need a degree? we can steer her towards something like accounting because she's good at problem solving and maths, and she has
Numbers.
amazing memory in numbers. So we can steer her towards that. If we have a family business, we'll just employ her in that. Why does she need O levels and 8 A stars for that? Why does she need even a university degree for that? So that
And that's
actually
that's
sunk
perfect, right?
in.
Because she
Yeah,
works, yeah, she works in an
yeah,
environment where she's also protected because it's family
right,
business. And I,
right,
I really love the fact that, and I can completely relate to that, Momina, because it's at times like that when we are really down, when we feel that, oh my God, my child, it's not working out for my child in school, that when it dawns on you that that is no longer an option for your child, no matter how much you've
yeah,
spent in therapies.
right.
Your husband, a man's way of looking at the same problem, it's an invaluable insight, and I've
And it's
experienced the
very
same thing with
annoying
my
at
husband.
that time when they present it. It's very annoying, but it makes sense if you
Yeah.
quieten down and think about it.
If you quieten down everything that's going on in your head and you reason
Yeah,
with what he's saying, like that actually makes sense.
right.
Yeah.
So, um, and then so I started searching homeschooling. I went to all these blogs of especially people in the Canada and the US and the UK, their blogs, and it seemed very feasible. I didn't know that there were even homeschooling groups in Pakistan. I joined all the Facebook pages. I followed, I think, 10 um, Insta accounts of homeschooling special needs children. That was very helpful. And But still, I was skeptical. I was like, oh my God, if she doesn't go to school, how what will she adapt? What will she do at home? And how can I do this at home? And it's I don't even know now.
Big
It's so easy, and I can't
responsibility.
even I can't even imagine why it was hard. Then I really don't understand why I thought it was hard. So, anyways, and at that time, luckily, this was last year, 2023, yes, about May 2023, that it was time for us to her SNA was actually leaving. She said she was leaving. So then on that during the summer, I also performed Hajj is a mandatory
Yeah.
journey for Muslims. So I performed Hajj,
Yeah.
and I went in the Hajj with my dua, okay, please Allah give me another good SNA and let it be another good school year in grade 5. But Allah had other plans. Of course, He knows more than me. And when I came back to Pakistan, I don't know why, but it was clear that homeschooling is the way. There is no other way. I came back home.
Wow.
I actually pulled her out of school right away. Started setting up this room. This is actually Mama's homeschool room. uh, my family was
Wow.
very supportive. My mother, I live in a joint household, and people from Pakistan and India can imagine how hard that apparently is. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, my mother, my family is very cooperative when it comes to Ummah and her needs. So I was able to set up this room, and I just realized that it's the curriculum, whatever she does in school, curriculum wise, we can easily replicate that at home. We can replicate it to more towards
Yeah.
Omama's suitability. So I just
Needs.
took the
Yeah.
curriculum, even grade 4, because I was not happy. Obviously, we couldn't do complete the whole grade 4 curriculum. I took it, and me and luckily the SNA. Oh, by the way, I forgot. The SNA decided to stay because her thing got delayed that she wanted to leave the job. For वो भी अल्लाह की तरफ से हुआ. So the transition was very easy because the SNA that accompanied Oma to school just started coming home. I mean, she did come in the
Coming
summer break
home.
before, but she just started coming home, permanently. And they were both able to
Oh,
transition well because me and the SNA, we just sat down, made a curriculum. I realized that why do I even need to follow grade 5 science books when I can just go to a bookstore, because Pakistan has a variety of books. So I can just go to a bookstore, pull out any textbook that I think Omama needs, go look up
or would be
worksheets
interested
online,
in.
and yes, make
Yeah.
my own textbook, make my own curriculum for every subject. So we did that. I typed that up, we sat over it, and we were good to go. I got other books. I mean, I went around. We used some of the books from her previous school, but most books I just realized that they're better off books for her. So, and I don't need grade 5 books. I need her books that are according to her level. So for Islamiyat, for example, we were at grade 1 level. Urdu, we were also at grade 1 level. Math, we were at grade 4 level. So we continued that. English was like grade 3 level. So I just got a bunch of books from different grade levels, and it just literally replicated a curriculum, and it was just so easy. And then the timing was
Amazing.
easy, like 9 to 12 while her sisters were in school. Mama went to school downstairs. And I even asked her, like before finalizing all this, I asked her. She's not really verbal, but I can communicate with her via paper. So I write down, do you want to study at home or do you want to go to we can also go to school? And she said, she said homeschool. She wrote that. So it was
She
her
wrote
decision. I mean,
that.
I didn't.
Wow.
She wrote. She does that. She makes. I can't verbally communicate with her a lot, but when I need a decision from her, I do take her opinion into a decision. She's almost a teenager now. Well, she's a teenager actually. Oh my god. Anyways, so she
Time
said
pass.
homeschool, right? And then I
Wow.
we went on with our journey, and I asked her 6 months later, "Oh, Mama, do you still like homeschool, or do you want to go back to Beacon House?" Again, she wrote homeschool. And
That's amazing.
like I write sentences like, "Oh, Mama, are you happy to study at home?" And she always, okay. A lot of mothers, another things that moms are scared of is what will happen to their social life, like how will we accommodate for the social life that we will lose by pulling a kid out of mainstream. My solution to that was that Omama was already part of a group, a sports group in Lahore. So they
Yeah.
were about it's a group of about 15 kids. They do a different sport activity every month, and the coach is very good. It's amazing opportunity for socialization. So I
Right.
actually loaded all my socialization needs on that thing, and it has all worked out beautifully.
Oh, that's amazing. And yeah, you're right, because there is this understanding that if a child goes to school, all their social needs will be met. And that's not just that it's difficult for a neurodiverse child to achieve that. Even for neurotypical kids, they don't really get that kind of chance to socialize in a school environment, because the break time is like what, 15, 20 minutes, and during
Hmm.
class time you can't really socialize, you're studying.
Right,
So
right.
there is, I feel that there is this misconception where we feel that if a child does not go to school, oh my God, we're sitting in an island. There is no other way for my child to socialize. They're always socializing. We're always
Right,
around people.
right, right.
So moving forward from what you just mentioned about, mashallah, how well you've set this whole thing up and you've made this work for you. What does a typical day look like? What does a typical homeschooling day look like? Like, what sort of systems do you have in place to make this function for you?
Her teacher, her SNA, I hired a different one now. She actually had to really leave this time. So I actually picked the teacher according to where she lives and obviously her, how good she is and her credentials. So I make sure that she's in the way of my other daughter's school. I have two neurotypical daughters, so I have to take care of their school pick and drop and all their schooling needs. So I make sure that that SNA lives in on our way to my older girl's school, my other girl's school.
Wow.
So I take all the kids. I drop the other two to school. On my way back, and Omama accompanies her, so she knows that she's getting out of the house for something in the morning with her sisters. So we drop the sisters. On our way back. We pick up the SN, her teacher, and we everyone comes home. Omama starts at 9 on the dot, and she's done by 12. And I leave with the SNA. I drop her off, and it's time to pick up my youngest one, and I come back.
Oh, that's just
And it all
perfect.
works out
That's
because then I get a chance to talk to the teacher. Uma feels like she's a part of going out and into her homeschool, and it's just
no,
works,
you get to
according
teach
to
her
everyone's
life
schedule.
skills.
Yes,
You also get to teach her life skills,
I
because
teach her
I
life.
remember I saw one. Yeah, I saw one of your posts about having her alongside you at a supermarket,
She
right?
does that because now my mind is empty of all the stresses of mainstream school and all the stresses of SNA school, so I can think and have the energy for other things. So, grocery shopping, she helps me with the laundry. We are able to practice speech, because speech we practice generally to generalization, anyways. And the other thing is that in homeschooling, you could incorporate even everything into those 3 hours of homeschooling. It doesn't have to be academics. Like we don't do academics every day. There's a part for social stories. So right now we're teaching Mama about puberty because it's any time right now for her. So
Yeah.
the essays, it was actually the teacher's idea. She makes sure that every week there's a slot in the day where we go over the puberty social story, and we even have a doll
Mm.
there which Mama dresses with a sanitary napkin, and it all happens inside the homeschool
Awesome.
because it was actually the teacher's idea. Okay, we should teach it to her this way.
That's
So,
amazing. That's amazing.
that's a huge. I think that's a huge life skill that we need to get over right now for her as a girl. So we
Yeah,
actually
and you get to
demonstrate
work
that.
on this in
Yeah,
the privacy
yes,
of your home.
home, yes, and but on the other hand, like I actually have enough time in my brain, my room in my brain to actually think of creative ways to having things generalized for her and again work on social skills. I actually with it's and she's able to spend more time with her grandparents, her grandmother, because school was what, like, in 5 hours, an hour coming and going. It was like 6 7 hours of her day just gone in school that she wasn't even liking. So and then it's been I think a year and a half now. All her anxiety is gone. The needing
Wow,
prompt
that's
to write and
great.
everything is gone. She's more resourceful. um, I don't know. I think if the homeschooling just relaxes her enough that even her brain has time to actually go over being resourceful and other tasks that she needs to do.
Momina, I'm a big believer of uh, the child mirroring the mother's energy levels. A big believer of that. And one of the main things that I always, when I'm coaching moms, it's always about draw attention to your energy levels, what's going on in your head, how calm can you be, let's work on that, and your child will mirror that, you know. So instead of expecting all the changes to happen from the child, forcing them into a mainstream school, for example, and expecting the child to mask, to put up with
Right,
all the sensory onslaught
right,
that they're experiencing in school, you did the smart thing by thinking straight, quietening the noise up there, pulling your child out, and your child was then able to show the calm and be the calm because you were able to be
right,
calm.
right. Because homeschooling is about her. I think mainstream schooling was about me. That's what I
Yeah.
wanted because that's what society wanted. Okay, maybe it was
Yes.
good for her. I do believe that it has been good for Imama in the early years until I think grade one in preschool. Basically after that it was just a burden, and I was sending her school for me and for society, I suppose, because that's what
Yeah.
you. So, and even in therapy centers in Pakistan encourage mainstream schooling, but again it's for society, it's not for Omama, it's not for the child. So
No.
I mean you just have to do things for them, not for you.
Right.
We have her fidget spinner if she ever gets jittery. We have her gym ball for breaks. I mean, it works for her. That's all she basically needs. So she gets breaks to jump on her gym ball and this. So we have stuff here. I mean, her stuff is available in her room, and it's not.
So
No,
that's
she.
yeah,
This is
that's
all she needs basically. Yeah.
yeah, so that's amazing. So you can read the signs, you can read her body language. Okay, right now she needs a movement break or she needs a
Yeah.
sensory break. So you're able to pull her out for a couple of minutes, do whatever you need to do, address her sensory diet, and then throw her back in
Throw her
to,
back in. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, which
And then
I
I don't have to pull her out of a classroom full of 30 kids to do it. It's already in her environment. It's more comfortable for her because this is her environment. Her environment is free for her.
yeah, it's so true what you said, that even though she's nonverbal, she knows she's different. We feel that just because a child can't express, they're not noticing things around them, that they're not internalizing things around them. So it's so amazing as a mom that you were able to pick up on that and not make this about yourself and more for her.
Right.
So thank you, Momina,
Yes.
so much for sharing this with us. And I'm sure that a lot of moms must have benefited so much from this episode. And I hope that is there any way for moms to contact you if they'd like to get some more inspiration or to get some more resources from you? Is there a way to contact you?
Sure, they can communicate with me through my Insta account, through Mama's blog, or I can share
Okay,
my number even. I mean, the more
okay,
people we help, the
amazing.
better.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Momina, for this.
Most welcome, most welcome. It was great. Thank you so much.